Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classic. That's 6. This is episode number 34, 64, and Doubleshot number 3358. Got two more trades. First up, it is What If? The Complete Collection, Volume 4. This is really weird for this one because it says it collects issues 36, 38, 40, 42, 40, 47. This app's actually lying about that because those two issues are in here. We'll get to that. We'll do so. Writers here are Alan Zinnick, Peter McGows, cool guy, met him. John Byrne, Mel Vanslow, Tom DeFalco, Alan Louise, David Anthony Croft, Dave Michelini, Rich Magoropoulos, Alan Cutberg, who I believe is also one of the artists, and the late Mark Greenwald. Artist Mike Vesberg, Ron Willison, cool guy. Booch Goose, rest in peace, man. You're a fantastic artist. Mark Silvestri, currently, I heard he's semi-retired right now. Ron Fritz, Bob Hall, met him, but like I mentioned last time talking about him, he only takes PayPal or cash for some reason. Rest in peace, Sal Bushma, Kelly Jones, John Bernioff again, Arvel Jones, Alan Weiss, Patty Cockrum, Dan Reed, and Mark Greenwald, who does double duty here. So we have first issue 38. What if the Fantastic Four never gain the powers? Basically, I'll take issue 1, where in this alternate reality, the ship goes off, no problem, it doesn't crash, doesn't get cosmic rays, they become celebrities, and they had to battle the Mole Man, obviously, and of course they do go underground and take them on. And by the way, these are just unpowered civilians. And they take them out, of course, and that's it for that. And then we have The Man Called Nova, where this backup story here is, what if Nova had not given up powers? Basically, in the original timeline for this, Nova, I think it was issue Fantastic Four, he had to give his powers to return to Earth. This one, he proceeds to sneak off of Xandar. He goes back to Earth. Everyone's so surprised. He breaks the door. And then the champion Xandar shows up, says he should surrender powers. Like, no, they're mine. After some conflict and damage the neighborhood, like 2 or 3 houses, it's like, fine, I'll get my powers up. It names the number Centaurian, the new Nova Prime. And that's kind of it, per se, with the story. Now, this whole thing of like no one not losing his powers, this actually comes to play in the Marvel comic universe, because in the 1990s, this was explained in New Warriors number 1, because they had Nova randomly show up in Thor, which New Warriors 1 to explain this, but Nova did not really lose his powers. So, issue 37, what if the Beast and the Thing continue to mutate, plus what if the Silver Surfer lost his power cosmic? The Thing can mutate thing, it's like, it features like basically Goliath here, Bill Foster. Basically, it's like what if it got worse? Yeah, much worse. Like he becomes green. Yes. Eventually he's fixed by the end of the story. He's cured. Second story. What if the Beast had become a beast? Yeah, what if the evolution became much worse than it was? Basically, he ends up hurting the X-Men. So this book is actually all take an issue of Amazing Adventures. So, eventually because of the fact he's lost his mind, the X-Men proceed to dump him in the Savage Land and just forget about him. Then we have, what if the Galactus had turned the Silver Surfer back into Noran? So it's all to take on what happened in Fantastic 50. So he takes away his powers, and then manipulated by, of course, Valis here. Then she becomes like a Golden Herald, similar to Frankie Ray. The whole thing of the Golden Herald thing, the female one, that becomes something for Frankie Ray a little later on. So, and then we have What If featuring Daredevil, Captain America, plus Vision and Scarlet Witch. So, first we have The Leaving, where basically This is set in the future. Yes, a what if issue set in the future where Scarlet Witch is much older. Thor has not aged, and apparently Jarvis has. I don't know if it's Jarvis' son. It's not really very clear. Looks like Rhodey is Iron Man, but Scarlet Witch is she's like Agatha Harkness. And basically, the whole thing in this issue is that, well, Jocasta also, I think, for Vision, just kind of like in case you're curious, that Jocasta was ever interested in Vision the way that is depicted here. Not really. Eventually, Scarlet Witch dies. Something about their kids, and then her mind gets transferred to Jocasta, and the Jocasta dies in Wanda's body. This Captain America one. What if Sharon Carter died? Yeah, this would be something that would be explored in the 1990s. I guess Mark Waid must have read this story and probably figured, though, hey, let's have this happen in the main continuity. Where she died in issue of Captain America back in the 70s, and then by the 90s, she's alive, faked to death. And this basically is just a prototype. And then we have Daredevil 2013. This is just Daredevil in the future, where Widow is still wearing her outfit, and the whole thing is like Daredevil retired, and basically the whole thing is was like no what if thing here. It just wanted Daredevil continue basically be old and older in 2013. No, he actually continued fighting in 2013, but not like this. And then we have an issue that Marvel skipped, but nope, they put it in here. We have what if the mighty Thor battled Conan Barbarian. And the first and only time these two ever met in a comic book. You're like, really? Didn't Marvel explore this when they brought back Conan in 2020? No. Never did. It's for 2019. So, basically, agency 2 fight. And they're really going to know each other. And I'm like, you're probably thinking, like, why couldn't they bring this back from modern day? I have no idea. It's really weird, but it's a really cool story. And then we have what if issue 40, what if Doctor Strange had not become the Master of Mystic Arts? Basically, it's what if Baron Mordo took place Doctor Strange, and, like, Doctor Strange himself never came basically a sorcerer. He basically got his hands fixed, but he had a little mind thing. Though by the end of the book, basically interesting Clea. Clea's interested in him, and almost seems like Mordo. It's just another like take of like what it's similar to what if Doctor Strange was a disciple of Dormammu. It's a very similar idea. But let's do a Nightmare as well. Really cool issue. I actually kind of enjoy this one. In issue 41, what if Atlantis? Say I'm going to say Atlantis from his destiny. Yep. So, yeah, the whole thing of Destiny is like going to war and taking out Tim, which he does. Yep. And it's just a really cool Submariner issue. You probably think, like, could they just put this main continuity? Not really, no. He does. Basically, it's him taking up Neptune's trident and basically being a two in that way. Now, issue 42. What if Invisible Girl had died? Where she did die, and like Reed's only recourse, the New of Grief. Of course, Submariner's brought this book too. Actually, Doctor Doom. So the only recourse is to have Reed go to Negative Zone to kill Annihilus. Annihilus would die eventually, but not by the hands of Reed. Oh, and this is the image when I met Peter D. Giles back, I think it was like 2018, 2019 at Timber Comic Con. They used this very cover because he wrote this one. This is what if basically Conan had been stranded in the 20th century. It just all take issue 13. It's a similar idea as like what if you actually got stranded here. Of course, he runs the Captain America. And this issue, sadly put, will be the last issue featuring Conan in What If. And just a few issues later, the book would end. But yeah, great book. But as for the backup story here, it is all about the universe cease to exist. And it's basically Doctor Strange with Silver Surfer, the Phoenix, and they're trying to save reality. And then we have What If Captain America's Rise. I love these covers here. I think this is Bill Sienkiewicz's artwork. The whole thing revives state, like, plus it's a recreation of Avengers 4. It's revived in the 60s, they revived in the 80s. So the whole thing of him taking out another Captain America who claims he's fighting commies, this actually did happen in the main continuity. This is part of explaining a retcon with him. And the fact that he was brought in because America taking over, and the fact that it's become more of a racist state. And Cap is basically still back to normal. Also, Spider-Man has a gun and working with Nick Fury. It's a great issue. And then we have What If the Hulk Went Berserk? Yep. It's just a much more worse state than what happened in issue 1 of Incredible Hulk. It just like it went crazy and just destroyed everything. That's literally the issue itself. Then we have What If Uncle Ben Had Lived? Yes, what if this is the first of many different alternate continuities of What If Uncle Ben Had Lived? So in this continuity, in this book here, well, the burglar didn't kill Ben Parker, he killed Aunt May, and eventually he found early, and then Jameson found out about it, and the whole thing of like Ben Parker working with Jameson, this actually would be something in a continuity that would actually happen. And Ultimate Spider-Man by John Hickman. Yeah. So they just work together, and he's like very sorrow, and I actually kind of enjoy this one. I mean, could you say this was a sort of a small prototype for Ultimate Spider-Man? I'm sure you probably got the idea from it per se. Then we have What If, for the final issue, What If Loki had found the hammer of Thor? What if Loki got the hammer first, and of course he's evil here, and then Thor gets the hammer at the end of the book. And that's the entire first volume of What If. Yeah, not as successful as Volume 2. Volume 2 was 114 issues. But this book was really good. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. Final thoughts on What If Volume 1. This book is fantastic. And it's a shame that in these books they only missed one issue. And that was the issue from the previous book. I think it was like... Oh yeah, it was the issue when they featured Shang-Chi. Yeah, there was the issue for Shang-Chi they missed. Well, it was they pretty much clicked the whole thing, no problem. Including the Conan issue for some reason. Maybe Marvel skipped. No, they did collect them. So good for that. But I got the first volume for What If, which is awesome. Eventually, I need a chance to review more of What If Volume 2. Alright, so next up we have is Fantastic Four Books of Doom by Ed Brubaker. Basically, this is Doctor Doom's origin story. Where you see it was a kid. It's like a book of his life. It's like 6 issues. Not 2 issues, it's 6 issues. I think this came out in the early 2000s. Yes, and Brubaker wrote it. So, basically, you see future Doctor Doom, one president, basically just witnessing the whole thing. Other stuff with Valeria, the original one, not Reed's daughter. This is when he takes to the country, how he gets his armor. A little more. This is more of a more detailed. It's more of expanded upon origin story that was expanded upon. I think it was in Fantastic Four. I believe it was annual number 2 or 3. I think it was where they explored Doom's backstory. This is much more expansive version, but this book is really good, and I give this book a 10 out of 10. Yep, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. And next up we have is... Don't you want to comment, okay? See you. Bye.